I'm still waiting. Give about a minute to do it.
Mr. Chairman, you're ready at any moment.
Thank you, Fred. We'll be ready momentarily. Danielle, are you ready? I'd like to call to order the Jackson County Board of County Commissioners meeting for November the 9th. At this time, please join me for prayer and the pledge.
Our dear Father, we gather here today. We're so very thankful to Thee for the many blessings Thou bestow upon us. We're thankful to Thee for this beautiful day and the weather that we've been experiencing. We're thankful to Thee for this week and celebrating our veterans and all that they have sacrificed for each one of us. We're thankful to Jesus Christ and His atoning sacrifice, and ask that Thou might bless us as we go throughout this meeting, that these commissioners may be able to make decisions that are beneficial to all the residents of our county. Ask Thee to watch over and protect us and bless us that we might be doing the things Thou would have us to do. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ms. Willan?
Yes, sir. We have one addition under section 2, number 19, which is a request for board approval of contract for surveying services to create legal descriptions for boundaries of districts due to redistricting.
Okay.
Motion that the agenda be approved with the addition.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Donifro, second by Commissioner Pate. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. All right, Ms. Willan.
The next item we have is board adoption of a proclamation recognizing Mr. Felix G. Long Sr. on his 100th birthday. And if it's okay, I'll read the proclamation and then we'll have him and the family come forward with a photo with the commissioners. But so that he doesn't have to stand up here, we will read it while he's seated. Whereas Felix G. Long Sr. celebrated his recent 100th birthday on November 8th, 2021. And whereas Felix G. Long Sr. was born in Jackson County, Florida on November 8th, 1921. And whereas Felix G. Long Sr. married Laverne Williams on March 14th, 1943, and they remained happily married for many years until Laverne's death. And whereas Felix G. Long Sr. and Laverne Williams Long were blessed with 5 children, 12 grandchildren, 21 great-grandchildren, and 4 great-great-grandchildren. And whereas Felix G. Long Sr. worked as a farmer in Jackson County while also working for Florida State Hospital and Sunland until his retirement in the late 1980s. And whereas Felix G. Long Sr. worked 2 jobs in order to put all 5 of his children through college to obtain 4 degrees. And whereas Felix G. Long Sr. has lived during the most eventful century of this nation's history and has been a model and inspiration to his family and to those who have known him. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners and citizens of Jackson County offer sincere congratulations and best wishes to Mr. Long for many more happy days in the future to share with his family and friends, in witness whereof this 9th day of November in the year of our Lord, 2021.
Mr. Long, would you come up, please? Commissioners, let's get out here and
Will y'all go ahead and vote on the proclamation and then you can come?
Say the proclamation.
we have a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner McKinney. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion
Yeah.
carries 5-0. With that. Let's get together, right? Mr. Long, just stay right where you're at. A young man like you, you don't have to get up and walk us. We can walk with you. Happy birthday. Mr. Long, here is the copy of the resolution she just read. We hope you have another 100.
Just we need to say.
Now they can come in. Well, wait. Are you going to join this? Yeah. I just, oh, you just say I'm not thinking. It says when you're forming. Well, I can't get. Got it now. I hold right there. Or one. Hard drive. No, it's not. Perfect. Okay. All of you have had a chance to review the agenda and the consent agenda items. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Pate.
I move to accept consent agenda items.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pate. Second. Second by Commissioner McKinney. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Tammy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here this morning to, for two items. The first is to request board approval of the fee schedule for Next Step at Endeavor Academy, Mariana's Transition Academy for Adults with Autism. And we would like to, the proposed fee schedule you have in your packet is $2,000 a month. And just also, please note, working to actively subsidize the cost of that program for students through scholarships and working with agencies.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Donofrio. Have you got any commitments out of the state, Tammy?
I have checked with the agencies. They cannot confirm exact amounts due to the individualized nature of their services, but I have looked at other things that they have granted to other clients, and they have given tuition, they've helped with transportation costs, and all the kinds of things that we would be asking for are things that they do provide, but they couldn't give me like an exact number that we will give you this amount.
Okay, I think we also should be looking at grants from all types of organizations.
Yes, I'm also looking into several grants and actually even some businesses that are thinking about offering scholarships to pay the cost in full.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank
Next.
you. The second one is to approval to create the position of coach at the academy. This is a person that will help and assist in the teaching and the job coaching and those types of services to the individuals in our first cohort, which we are hoping to start in January.
Got a motion by Commissioner Pate,
Second.
second by Commissioner Donifro. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Tammy. David,
David is not able to be here, so I'll handle this item. This is to request board approval of change order number 1 for the Autism Center building renovations. This is a total of $118,867, but it details a number of items that were either identified as they went through, or just as we met, Tammy and I, and just talked about in reality, some things that needed to be changed. But it includes things, some changes to the entrance foyer. This also shifts some money around because we're not going to be doing work to building 200. And so it's shifting some of that into building 100. But on page 51 and 52 details what all those changes include to the contract.
thank you. Any questions for Ms. Willian? Do I hear a motion?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion by Commissioner McKinney. I need a second. Oh, that's right. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pate. Any more questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries
4-0. I need to abstain
0.
from voting due to a conflict of interest as our firm is handling the architectural services for David H. Mellon.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And I did just want to point out those funds are new market tax credit funds and job growth funds.
I am glad that thing closed. I had to sign 150 documents.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would ever finish. Okay, Chief Bruner.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
All right, first item we have is board approval and authorize the chairman to sign the 2021-2022 Florida Department of Health EMS County Awards Grant, and we will need to adopt the resolution that is with that. Do I need to read the resolution?
Is there a match to that?
No, sir. It is the award that we get every year with zero match. It
Okay.
comes directly to the county.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application and adopt the resolution and authorize the chairman to sign.
okay, got a motion by Commissioner Pate, second by Commissioner Hill. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Do we have to read the resolution? Okay, very good. Next one's yours also, Charlie.
Yes, sir. Next item is board approval to purchase extrication tools off of the Lake County contract from Municipal Emergency Services in the amount of $45,285. This was a special project that was budgeted this fiscal year.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Pate. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Okay.
All right. The next item is board approval to purchase a fire engine from E1 Hallmark RTC off of the Orange County, Florida contract. The proposal was for $404,314.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill. Second by Commissioner McKinney. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
And the last item I have this morning is board consideration to waive the ambulance standby fees for the Alabama Junior Rodeo Association on February 26th and 27th of 2022.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill. Second by Commissioner Donifro. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Okay,
Ms. Christie.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning, board.
Morning.
My first item this morning is board approval of a digital marketing agreement with Madden Media for the Other Side of Florida campaign. This is a Visit Florida co-op that we paid out of Tourist Development Council funds.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Pate. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. My next item is board approval of a special event grant to Florida Cavern State Park in the amount of $3,000. This will be their first event held at the park since Hurricane Michael.
Got a motion by Commissioner Pate, second by Commissioner Donifro. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Next item is board approval of a TDC sponsorship for the Milton H. Johnson Optimist Invitational in the amount of $7,500.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Pate. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Next item is board approval of a TDC grant for the Three River State Park Art and Heritage Festival. We're requesting $5,000 in grant funds, but want to use $4,000 from previously awarded funds that they didn't get to use from last fiscal year that's in the TDC reserve account, and $1,000 from this fiscal year. If that's not too much to ask.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner McKinney. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. My next item is just a brief tourism update on what the industry looks like in Jackson County. Of course, we're coming out of the pandemic and seeing a change in tourism trends. When I presented at Leadership Jackson County a few weeks ago on tourism in the county, instead of just reading out all the statistics that we usually do, I took a little bit of a different route and presented them with trivia. And I think the trivia kind of stuck with them a little bit better, especially when I got to things like how many people visited Jackson County in 2019. Do any of y'all have any kind of idea? Around 1.2 million people. So when you tell them those numbers, it kind of sets an impact because most people were starting to guess, oh, 50,000, 60,000. I was like, y'all got to go a lot higher than that. So they're like, okay, 100,000. I was like, keep going. So yeah, in 2019, we had around 1.2 million visitors in Jackson County. And in that same year, that economic impact from tourism was around $167.5 million. That's money that's coming in direct, indirect, and induced. So direct businesses buying from other businesses, and of course the labor force. About 8% of our jobs, 1 in 8 of our jobs is in the tourism industry. So it is a growing industry. Just 4 years ago, it was 1 in 10. So it's starting to increase around here. Our current bed tax collections for the 2021 fiscal year are approximately 9% higher than the total of 2019-2020 fiscal year, with 2 months of collections left to go. So we're currently sitting at 417,000 of collections, but we still have 2 months that are going to average about anywhere between 35,000 to 50,000 each month. So we're doing really good in terms of bed tax collections. With that increase in collections, we also know there's going to be an increase in other sales tax revenues, spending in the county, and economic impact. Our forecast for fiscal year 21 to 22 suggests that we're going to generate approximately 14 to 20% more in tourist development taxes than the previous year, which allows us to allocate more money into our marketing efforts, which in turn brings more people here. In addition to our increased marketing efforts, we can also allocate additional funds towards new product development. New product development for us includes things such as nature parks, trails, interpretive panels, and even the waterway cleanup efforts that we've talked about. Not only does an increase in our bed tax help us achieve our goals, it also gives back to the community. Our data indicates that around 50%, a little over 50% of gas tax revenues in Jackson County are generated from tourists. So when people are coming in here, of course, they're driving around, they're filling up their gas tanks before they head out, and that money is coming back into the county. Some of our upcoming campaigns include a local awareness campaign. So this actually started going out in papers last month. On the front, we list out some of our upcoming events in the area, and on the back, we kind of give an oversight of what the Tourist Development Council is and kind of what we do. There is one line in here that we put in just to kind of let people know that if you're not familiar with seeing with this, it's by design. Our job is truly to be outside of the community to get people in here. So 99% of what we do is outward facing, as we say it. We don't do much that's in market, but we are doing a local campaign. that will highlight the tourism industry within the county and just provide more information to locals. We have an upcoming winter campaign that will encourage visitors to discover the other side of Florida. And that will be to direct visitors here in the spring, which is one of our lowest months. And then we're taking a new twist on the Farm Fresh, which is our agritourism guide, and where we're going to go out, do a Meet Your Farmers feature and let people see who the farmers are behind their product and tie that into a local flavor campaign and a national publication where we actually publish a recipe based on Jackson County amenities. We've got another campaign coming up, a camping campaign that we're really excited about. This was something that was brought up at a TDC meeting by one of our campgrounds that said that in the spring, summer, and fall, they see a little bit of a different, I guess, overnight stay occupancy rate than our hotels. In our hotels, where we stay around 70 to 80% in the summer, but our campgrounds aren't seeing that. So we're gonna push out a camping campaign that's gonna launch in the spring. And we're actually going to be utilizing local models for this campaign. And we will have a photographer come in 2 weekends in December, and they're going to shoot some different footage, outdoor things, some glamping with some places that we've got on the waterways. And then, of course, your traditional camping at the state parks and other parks. We're also going to include things such as river explorations, fishing excursions, quail hunting, your traditional campfire activities, horseback riding, hiking, and pet-friendly activities, all of which really enhance the camping in the community. We're excited to do this, and we are looking for additional models. If anybody wants to sign up with us, they can just shoot me a message, and I'll get you on the list.
Put Commissioner Hill on your list.
All right, add them to it. We're also going to be meeting with our PR company, Laurie Rowe Communications, in the coming weeks to discuss our stories and angles for the year. This past year, we focused on history, outdoors, and agritourism, and our biggest return, and honestly the largest for our 10-county region, was a piece that featured Jackson County agritourism that was posted online by Southern Living. It generated over 7.3 billion impressions and had a media value of over 67.5 million, which is a massive success for us because we invested way less than that in it. In addition to our PR campaigns, we're going to be returning to collaborations with our neighboring counties now that the travel restrictions are pretty much all lifted. This will be accomplished through the creation of day trip itineraries that encourage people to stop in one community and then go to the next to kind of increase their vacation. Research indicates that the more things that there are to do in an area, the longer people stay, which means the more money they spend in an area, and the more likely they are to return. And your return visitors are the ones that you truly want. So what we're wanting to do is neighbor with our partner counties, create these bucket list trip ideas, and encourage them to travel around the area. So all of these project goals and great accomplishments would of course not ever be possible without the support of y'all as the county commissioners and our county administrator. So on behalf of the TDC and myself especially, I'd like to thank y'all for y'all's continued support, and we're looking forward to another successful year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Oh, a question for Christie, and I don't know whether it actually should go to Christie or maybe Willan or maybe even Mr. Commissioner Hill. Kayaking and paddling on the Chipotle River is a big part of ecotourism here in Jackson County. Where are we with the Peacock's boat landing property?
I think you need to talk to Red.
No, I can give an update.
You got it.
We talked with the Northwest Florida Water Management District. He was going to reach out just for a updated update, but within the last month, they were actively pursuing purchasing it. And we're very hopeful that that will happen, but that is not official yet because it's just moving through the channels. But they were very positive in their feeling that they would be able to do that.
When would we know something on that?
They said by the end of the year, we should know.
Very good.
Thank you.
Is that right? By
Thank
the
you.
end of the year? If you'd like to add to that.
So they're under the appraisal review process and have to have an offer on the table by the end of the year.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Willan.
Jeffrey Register, AKA Jabbo.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'd like to request the board approval of change order 1 to reduce the contract amount by $27,000 and close out for River Road emergency road repair.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill,
Second.
second by Commissioner Donifro. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. You're getting off too easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Honor.
Hello. The first item I have here is asking for your approval of the agreements and utility easement to Florida Public Utilities for the new road and bridge building. The amount of these is going to be $9,662.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Pate. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Yeah, this next item is just a report and update. You were provided with the property appraisals for the listed properties here. So we're just asking for any board direction on those that you want to take and just any discussion that you want to have on those properties.
I looked at those and I think we probably should immediately look to start marketing the auction facility in Graceville.
I agree.
Most definitely.
The others, I think, are being utilized until we get a better plan. We're probably going to have to sit tight, but we don't want to wait too long.
You want to go and take it one by one then, or you gonna do it and do the auction facility in Graceville? We'll sell it?
I'm just gonna do
Make a motion or what?
Me, I can't make a motion.
I do.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner McKinney to go ahead and market the auction facility in Graceville, a second by Commissioner Pate. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
So we are using all the rest of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's all I would need at this time, unless you want any other motions.
I don't know that we need to make a motion on the others until we get ready to do something.
That's good.
It's just hold them in abeyance.
Okay, and then my next item is just asking for your approval of the authority delegation for a CDBG grant. This is for our jail roof project. So in order to sign like pay request and requests for reimbursement and any other agreements we have, just asking that you grant Will that authority to be able to sign.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Pate. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Also, Mr. Chairman, Hunter, were you going to talk about just vacant land in general at all?
Yeah, so I had that on there, but I didn't know what you guys' thoughts were on that. So on the previous item, so you guys were presented with a listing of all the vacant properties in Jackson County. So also, if there's any other recommendations you have for land that you want to either sell or acquire, you can make a motion here. Or I could provide you, email you that list of properties. I'm not sure if Commissioner McKinney and Commissioner Donovan were here.
I was going to say that we can start working with a realtor to sell some of that surplus land that we've talked about, over the years. Of course, ultimately, y'all would decide piece by piece, but that is an option that we have if you all are interested in liquidating some of the surplus land.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Yeah, I make a motion, we bring us a list of the land with the values, appraised values of it. And then we'll look at them, and I'll make a motion.
Do we have appraised values on all the land?
Well, it's a pretty long list. I mean, we could have the property appraiser, which I know is not an appraised value. And we can provide that again, especially, have y'all ever seen it?
Yeah. Well, I know there's a long list, but we're not selling all of it.
Yeah.
So we had a list of we had like 140 total properties, I think. And so that maybe like a third of those were maybe vacant or not used currently. So I can provide you with that list and then get you the assessed values that the property appraiser has for those and give you a better estimate of like what we could actually, that could be deemed surplus land.
Is that what you want, Commissioner Hill?
Yeah, I would like to see anything over value of six figures. I'd like to have appraisal on it, so I mean, if it gets 6 figures.
Most of this land is just like an acre or 2 acres or.
So I'll probably put it in your box in the next week or two and just have it for you to review.
Thank you.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Pate. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Next.
Okay, this is a requesting board approval of a next step letter of support for a legislative appropriation request that would go directly to Endeavor Ford. And so we're just asking for authorization for the chairman to sign a letter of support.
Also, motion to approve the letter. Support.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Donifro, second by Commissioner Pate. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Item 19, Ms. Willian.
Yes. This is a request for board approval of contract for surveying services to create legal descriptions for boundaries of districts due to redistricting. And we have Lee Anderson did a not to exceed $10,000. He thinks they can do it for less than that, but just to be sure he covers it.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill,
Second.
second by Commissioner Donifro. Now, he is only going to be drawing the lines or identifying the lines that are not streets, rivers, roads, obvious markers, right?
So he's not going to do meets and bounds descriptions. It's a
What's he doing?
adequate parts. That was his recommendation. That's what we're going with.
It's something called adequate parts.
It's the section township range, that kind of description. That's what he's going to try to
It's
work
not
out.
as costly to do that description.
So if someone has
But-
a house on one side of the road, one has one on this side of the road, and that line splits, then will they know definitively if someone builds between those two houses in the future, will they definitively know where it crosses the line?
An individual?
Yeah.
I don't
Will they have
know.
access to that or not?
Well, yeah, it'll be public. We have
Okay.
y'all have to
Okay.
actually adopt the legal
Sure.
descriptions
But
by resolution.
he's not going through the whole map and picking out roads, and he's just going by the section lines and the census tract lines and identifying those, correct?
That is my understanding.
Okay. Because we don't want him wasting a bunch of time and effort on the road. I mean,
I would think for the
Anybody
price that's
can do
given,
that.
that would be compatible with what you just said.
okay,
Otherwise, it'd be a lot more expensive.
all right. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Ms. Amber? Now we got to go into public hearing. Hang on a second. We are now in public hearing.
Good morning. This is a request for a general development order for West Florida District Council Assembly of God Incorporated to construct a 15,211 square foot church district office and storage building and construct a 20,944 square foot vehicular use area, which includes sidewalks and 8 RV spots for visiting ministers. This project will be located approximately 0.5 miles south of the intersection of State Road 71 and Magnolia Road on the east side of State Road 71 in unincorporated Jackson County.
Is there anyone here in the audience or against this? Fred, do you have anyone waving?
If there is anybody online that would like to speak for or against this, they may use *9 if joined via telephone, or they may use the raise hand feature on Zoom. I see no hands.
We're out of public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Chairman, I move
Mr.
to
Pate.
approve the general development order for West Florida District Council Assemblies of God and have the chairman to sign.
Got a motion by Commissioner Pate, second by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we're back in public hearing. Ms. Amber.
The request for an additional 1-year extension to an existing development agreement for Dove Rest RV and Mobile Home Park.
Is there anyone here who wants to speak for or against? Fred, do you have anyone waving?
I see no hands raised.
We're out of public hearing. Yes, Commissioner Pate.
Did we do something like this last time?
What did we do?
We did.
We scheduled it
Just set
for
the public
today.
hearing.
Yeah,
Was this the first?
This-
we got a motion by Commissioner Hill,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Donifro.
Is this the first extension?
No, sir, this is the second extension. The first one was due to COVID and the second one is due to COVID and the back order on supplies.
And I think the hurricane impacted it too.
And
They tried to get a lot of it done so they could get some of those workers in there, but didn't work out. Yes, Commissioner Fay. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. All right, we're back in public hearing. Ms. Amber.
Board, request board discussion and approval to extend a development agreement for waste management. The applicant is requesting an additional 1-year extension. This extension is due to continued supply chain issues.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak for or against? Fred, do you have anyone waiting?
I see no hands raised.
We're out of public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board? Got a motion by Commissioner Hill?
Mr. Chairman, I have
Yes.
one hand that just popped up.
Okay, well, we'll go back into public hearing. Go ahead, Fred.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm sorry, I was late in doing that. Can you tell me this is Deborah Buckle, Floyd, and this extends what project, please, for waste management?
it is. Amber, you want to answer that?
Yes, sir. It's to install 1 leachate evaporator and 3 additional leachate evaporators in the future.
Thank you.
Is that all you have, Deborah?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, good to hear from you.
Good to be heard.
All right, we're out of public hearing now, again. Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Donifrio. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, Ms. Amber.
Request to set a public hearing for construction of a 180-foot telecommunications tower for Verizon Wireless to be located at 4550 Timber Lane Road in unincorporated Jackson County.
Got a motion by Commissioner Pate, second by Commissioner Hill.
How close is this? How close is this to the east side of county? I know Timber Lane runs off of
I can answer that. You're probably, as the crow flies, Travis, what, a mile and a half from? Yeah,
River Road,
2 miles.
2 miles from the location
Yeah.
of the tower. We didn't make sure they did obviously receive the public service notification on the towers, correct?
Mhm.
Form.
so we do have space on there, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Okay,
that's November 16th at 9:15.
right. Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Ms. Wendy?
Thank you, Commissioners. This morning, I'm asking to request board approval of an agreement for technical assistance for the 5-year renewal of the community rating system. And this would be the lowest quote of $14,500. Request.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill. Second by Commissioner McKinney. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Wendy.
Thank you.
Okay. Sheriff, wake up. You have anything you want to tell us about? Only the good things now.
Absolutely. Thank Rhett and AJ for helping us get our water to the our kennels. That was a huge lesson. We're just staying busy always. Recruiting. Got a big recruiting event out at Evangel Church this morning, like a regional job fair for high school kids. There's kids from probably 5 or 6 counties out there. Lots going on out there.
A lot of prospects.
Yeah. We got up our recruitment game for sure. And if you go out to what I call the new sheriff's office, one on Highway 90, to look around, I would suggest you park by the road and walk in, because there's lots of tags laying around. They try to get them up, but they can't get them all. I mean, and so we've had to buy a few tires as a result. So we stopped getting gas there for the time being, and just use the gas cards, because if you go in there enough, you're gonna get attacked.
How's the project progressing?
It's coming along. They're out there every day. That's the a big roof, that's a big, big endeavor. But
Are they replacing the outer shell to some of
they've
it?
already had that done. There may be a couple pieces that they haven't, but they actually did that before they,
Doing the roof?
yeah.
Okay. Thank
Anything else?
You said,
Thank
you said you were buying a bunch of tires. Are they paying for a bunch of tires?
That's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir. Keep up the good work. Michelle, do you have anything?
I do.
We're in trouble when she stepped up.
Oh, no. Travis is gonna come up.
Mr. Chairman, also, GP is here to give an update when you're ready for that.
I'll let you call for it. Sandy, do you have something you want to share with us? Yeah, I got a question for you.
Okay, so this is related to your FEMA project, the 4177, also known as dirt road projects for districts 1 and 5 and 2 and 4. The work was contracted to Graham County Land Company, and in the last couple of months, they have gone into a receivership in North Carolina. They also had assigned their payments to a finance company that went into bankruptcy within a week of them going into receivership. They also have had issues with paying their subs, and so we have received notices of claims from multiple subcontractors on the jobs, and there's been at least one subcontractor that filed a payment bond claim. The work is completed, and Travis can speak to that. There is a change order in the packet that I just handed out to you. There's a change order for each project, District 1 and 5, and then District 2 and 4, that reduces the total value of the contract. The kind of problem that we had with getting this closed out is that there are multiple claims now between Nationwide, which is the surety, the finance company, and the receiver for Graham County Land Company as to who's entitled to the gross proceeds of that. And so I got everybody together and said, in order for Jackson County to pay anyone any money, everybody has to be on the same page. We all have to agree. We have to put it in writing who is entitled to the proceeds, and then everybody is going to release Jackson County. And so that's what the settlement agreement entails here, that until we received the executed settlement agreement between Nationwide, Flexible Funding, and the receiver for Graham County Land Company, and also specifically the contingent releases from the subcontractors, we won't be paying them, but I'm asking you to go ahead and approve the agreement as to its form today, and then to approve the 2 change orders and the final pay request. So once I have all of the executed releases in hand, then Danielle can cut the check, and we'll be finished with that project, and you could submit for reimbursement.
And it's the first change order for each project, and the certificate of completion for each project. And did you pass out the final pay request? Part of the package already?
I don't think I had that part in there.
It's fine.
So
The change order basically just reduces the contract amount down to what they actually earn. So it zeroes out the project.
So we're paying what they're due. No
That's
more,
right. That's
no more,
correct.
that's it.
No more, no less.
So moving, Chairman.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill,
Second.
second by Commissioner Pate. So are we going to be liable for any of this?
Nope.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I know the subcontractors were having trouble getting paid some time ago.
Yes, so Nationwide is, their escrow company is getting the money, but Nationwide is responsible for getting releases from all of the subs before we cut the check to their escrow company.
Okay,
What kind of time frame would y'all expect on this transaction?
As quickly as they want to act to get their money, and at this point, the ball's in their court, and they know that.
all right.
I mean, it's still real unclear as to what we're actually doing here. I mean,
So normally this would be just a general final payment request to pay Graham County Land Company, but because of you had the assignment of payments to their finance company, and then there was a claim on the payment bond by a subcontractor. All right, and
Not Missy Mossy, but different.
no, it was Missy Mossy. I wasn't gonna name it, but it was Missy Mossy. So Nationwide and the finance company do not agree as to who has priority over the gross proceeds of the contract. Somebody other than Graham County Land Company is actually entitled to receive the money, but we don't know who has priority. I don't know if it's the bankruptcy court for the finance company. I don't know if it's the surety. I don't know. It's not for me to determine. The only other option for us to do would be to file an interpleader case here in the circuit court and to deposit the money in court and then let them fight it out amongst themselves. And that would cost the county money. So that's not what we wanted to do, but that was what I offered to them, is either you all get together, everybody agrees, and y'all tell us who you want to pay, and everybody releases us forevermore, or we're just gonna go file the interpleader and y'all can figure it out yourselves.
You asked the question what the timing was on receiving all of those releases.
They were supposed to be working on these. They've got the forms. I really had thought that we would have them in hand because everyone was wanting to get their payment as quickly as possible, but I don't have them yet.
Any more questions?
But Paul, the bankruptcy is what's causing all the problems, I think.
It certainly didn't help.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. Thanks, Travis. Okay, Michelle, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Ms. Willan?
Before we call GP up, next week, November 17th through 19th, Dylan sent you all some information that there's a legislative conference through FACT. And so we're just confirming, if any of you wanted to be signed up for that, you just need to, you don't have to tell me now, but just let Dylan know before you leave today, and he'll see about the hotel and making sure you're signed up.
Thank you.
Okay, GP.
Anything?
No, I didn't have anything else.
Okay, Josh. Time to walk on the coals.
I just wanted to give y'all an update on the sign project. We had the pre-construction meeting. They kicked off a couple of weeks ago. They've been going through all the paved roads in District 1 first, doing an inventory. They've ordered signs. They're supposed to start putting up new signs on December 1st. So they're trying to stay 2 or 3 weeks ahead of the construction crew to make sure, because in some cases, y'all have gone out and put up emergency
We put up a
repairs.
bunch of signs.
We don't want to double up on anything, so we're having to kind of do a real quick inventory ahead of the construction crew. Any of the old green posts that don't meet code, we're pulling those up and giving them back to the county, and the contractor's replacing them because you're getting paid to replace them anyway. But that's going well. Everything's on schedule, and we'll probably give you a monthly update as we go forward.
Do we have some sort of a plan as to when they're going to get to the different districts?
We asked for that. I don't think we have that schedule in the hands yet, but I know they started in District 1, and I don't know how they're gonna do it, but we'll, at the next meeting, maybe y'all meet again next week, right? We can get that.
Are we going to be reimbursed for all these signs we put up?
I don't think so, but you'll have those to use.
Can we take them down and y'all let them install new ones?
They're taking
we'll
them
put 'em-
down.
Oh, they're taking out the ones we
The ones that
replaced?
y'all put up temporary that don't meet the standards, they're taking those down and giving them back to the
Post or the sign itself, or both?
both. If the
Why
sign
don't they
doesn't
meet
meet,
standards, Travis?
because of the post. They meet county standards, they don't meet DOT standards, and the contract requires them to put up DOT standard posts.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference.
And they look very nice too. One have seen y'all replace it, look very nice.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. So if the signs that we put up, because obviously emergency, I think if this would be one that they would reimburse us for them, because we had to put them up emergency because you got liability on fire rescue, you got liability on ambulances, you got all the liability attached, but we can't get reimbursed for the signs we've had to spend up. I mean, we got reimbursed for emergency road projects that we had to go do because it was emergency, but they wouldn't reimburse us for signs.
I think we should be putting that up against it, part of
Yeah.
part of it.
I mean,
It's
maybe a
category B.
nominal amount, but still,
Sure.
principal.
How much do we spend?
those.
So I
A lot.
We'll have an inventory as we take them down, what those are. Now, we may not get the sports account later because we don't run it in tracking correctly.
Well, say there's a liability of someone missing or delaying an ambulance, so, that's got tangible value to it, but one we might not be able to recover.
Sure. But you will get to keep what you bought.
Yeah, that's good.
Reuse it somewhere else.
Okay.
All right. Two roads.
All right, Travis, that's the good news.
All right, Josh.
Pull up the chair.
So I'll jump right into 4177, which is, what we were just talking about. And that, the lawsuit and all that wrangling keeps us from submitting the reimbursements, as you know. So that's 2.3 million, but we are moving forward with Sweet Pond, which is also going forward, and costs associated with those. So the reimbursement process for all the work that's happening. And not sure if you have a packet in front of you, but this all comes down to what happens next after this is the final work of the original scope. And now that the work is complete, we need to get this payment, we need to get it reimbursed, validated, and then submitting new projects. Did everyone receive the spreadsheet, the final cost with your reconciliation we asked it about last time? And I talked to Commissioner Peacock about it. And I think the last time I brought.
How much is left? You have that number out at the.
Yeah.
So you just go, I guess.
The last time we talked about 24 million and you're like, it's 28. The reason is small projects. So the total value is 28.
Right.
I'm looking at just the large projects that we can go back on. That was that gap that we saw.
So you have the numbers per district on how much we have remaining?
Correct. Per PW, per district.
Is it in this template?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's actually the spreadsheet too that, if you didn't already get that, several weeks ago, it's a pivot table where you can drop down and see every single road that's in a PW, which is the second slide on this. And this is an example from Commissioner Pate's district and additional projects that he might want to use his additional funding for.
I'm trying to.
Page 3, bottom paragraph.
Yeah. 4177, over and under.
Right.
So this is just an example of the projects Commissioner Pate had. Mill Road, it did different estimates for asphalt or for chip seal. So an analysis of which project and how much money you have funded within that district. And you'll see there is, in certain PWs, there's less money than in other ones. So it remains to be seen how flexible they are with us. They've been flexible in the past. For us to be able to just take a road in one district and apply it in a new one. So, for instance, your Mill Road, the cost to do Mill Road is more than what there is available in that specific PW. So we would have to then submit a project that says we want Mill Road using the money in a completely different PW. Mill Road was in PW 900, but under the final alternative project, we'll take the money out of PW 980, which has 1.2 million. So there's a little bit of nuances there, so we can finally close out. And
But we hadn't submitted these, right?
no, so we have no. We have
These
to.
are probably all gonna come up.
Well, we're gonna have to decide which method you want, and then submit it with the main money you have. Correct. And obviously there's other alternatives you could choose. You could just get material or, there's, but this is the analysis that's going to need to be done for everyone.
So on District 4, for example, the bold number is that the cumulative number for how much I have left out of the project for District 4, 4177, is that correct?
Correct.
So the
22.6
million.
Yeah. So, and again, in the table in that spreadsheet, you can.
Yeah, in the bold, I just asked.
2,625,000.
2,625,000, not 22.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Total project 24,
Okay, so 2 million.
but now.
Right, and that's again.
So
that's
again,
based off-
I've already chose line for my scope. Is that still? where we're at?
I think we're gonna have to go back, so we got,
Go back and answer that again?
so all I know is what was, done.
We went to DC over that one.
So we have what was completed, which is what was handed to us, and then we have everything else that we just did, which was lime. So there may be some things that they said were completed that you didn't get the lime on it. We can figure out which ones those were and go back and take out of that 2.6.
How are you gonna do that evaluation?
We can do that for you, but I think we're gonna need your help to find out which ones they said were complete, but didn't have the right scope.
I mean, that would have to be on the road and bridge, determine that one. I mean, I know we did, I don't know
Okay.
how many miles we've done, 20 or 30 miles, and it's on the completion aspect.
So we do know which ones that you requested it on. And we have a list that said these were complete. We have the cost for those. But I'd rather get Road and Bridge and say, okay, did they put the lime rock on this? Now you can go back then and
So
put
you
it
just
on
need
there.
to validate the roads that are done, is what you're saying. Is that right?
What's that?
You need to validate the
Correct.
roads that's done. So how
That
long is that
were
process?
said we're done before we took this. That where we're done to the scope that you requested.
Again, I don't ask this, is there a time frame on this? I mean, we're 7.5 years.
Oh, yeah,
Seriously.
absolutely. Yeah, so we have an extension that we're trying to get to, it's up here somewhere at 2022 for the new projects. We want to submit this and request an extension. This will be, again, our final request. So we're hoping that will be the end of it. And the ones that we already have in motion, those I think 4 plus Sweet Pond are scheduling kickoffs and those to proceed. So
Are y'all clear, commissioners, are y'all clear on exactly where we're at on 4177? Do we need to schedule a one-on-one meeting with Josh and them and Jeffrey to work out the details on this?
How long would it take y'all to get together, Jabbo, and for them? I mean, to break down the verification of what we got, because at the end of the day, again, moving forward, I think each commissioner needs to know where they're at on the project this far out. And if this is our last extension, then we got issues if we don't get that right, that there probably will not.
So I guess this would be my recommendation, because of all of the versions that were kind of overlapping. And the last time we showed you that list of roads that were taken off of 2 different PWs and versions that were put on 2 different versions or 2 different PWs for the same version. It's an ugly mess.
Well, that's usually what happens when you have overlapping natural disasters during that
Right.
same time period. I mean, that's not our fault, but I mean.
So looking at, no, it's FEMA's fault.
Well, sure it is.
Totally
Absolutely.
FEMA's fault of putting a version through on 2 different PWs of the same version. But coming out clean, just saying, you have $2.6 million. That's the cost that have been validated. That's the work that's been done, and that's how much you have. Now, some of that may have not been completed that should have been, because it was said complete and it wasn't complete. But right now, if you said, I'm taking this 2.6 and we're going to snap the chalk line and go back and I'm going to spend this 2.6 with whatever you want to do, don't assign it to a road, but just say, I'm bringing truckloads of lime rock, I'm paying the material cost, and I'll put it where I want to put it. Then you're tied to the purchase of the lime rock, not where it goes.
Well, that sounds like maybe a better avenue.
We can do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's not what, yeah, you need a motion on that, or, I mean.
Yeah, so this is
So
the
you're saying I can take I can take $2+ million of the 2.6, I take all this money, 0.6, and I can say, I want District 4 to go get 2.6 million out on bid for lime, and that's a product, and then that will most likely be approved.
Yes, it should be based on policy, because you were doing a different process. You were adjusting the scope of your existing scope. Now that the work is done, you're basically saying, we're done with that. We're creating brand new projects. You could buy school buses if you wanted, because you're doing the alternative project now.
I want to do the best that will pass through it. I mean, again, this is, the time frame is getting.
Right. So if you went and said, I'm going to make this purchase now, it may be difficult. They don't have 2.6 million worth of lime rock to get you in that
We
could
got
take
3
time.
bids, we can find it.
Right. So that would be just my recommendation. Purchase material in aligns with the damage It's an easy fix and you don't have to do anything other than say, I've got the receipt for the material I purchased and it's closed out.
Is that obviously, it sounds like a faster process, but is that a short time frame process? That sounds like faster on the delivery end, but is it on the approval end?
It might be. You wouldn't have environmental reviews, which would be
Are
something.
you talking 6 months, a year, or what? I mean, if you had to.
With FEMA, obviously, we can get a time extension done correctly, so so it would take.
Spring of 14.
It would be faster, for sure.
Okay, that's what I want. I'm gonna tell you that now. Just get road and bridge and validate whatever you validate, but that's my, on mine.
Okay.
That doesn't be-
But before you do that, District 4 to District 5. So my trucks get ahead of his.
How can they agree to do that when we have to, I don't know, that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
So
Now we're 7, 8 years in.
you had to complete the entire scope of
Right.
work,
But then,
but they have options while you're doing the work to extend it. So that's where you were at. That's the area you're at. Once all the work is complete, you have the leftover money, you submit what they call an alternative project that FEMA approves or disapproves. And it has criteria as to what it can do. And this would be considered mitigation. We would say we're buying this to mitigate our roads and future damages. And so it aligns with their policy, their process. That's the money. The only other step would be validating all the actual costs, which we should have everything up to these last 2 rounds. And we have those 2 rounds. As soon as we get them, the lawsuits settled, we can submit and that will close that out. But it doesn't stop us from moving forward on estimates and then adjusting on actuals.
No, I want to go get material.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
no-brainer. I mean, we
So
can use it every.
Jeffrey, can y'all start
Josh, on
Monday
this,
morning hauling material?
Josh, on this line item of 900, 980, 981,
Yes.
what is that saying? What is that?
Those are the actual project worksheet numbers. So it's a FEMA number for the grant. And they created 3 grants and you have District 1 roads in every single one of those grants.
So they're not, they're interchangeable for us, funding what's concerned, you're not just use.
No, that's something that we have a potential, I don't want to call it concern, but it's something we need to address. So if there is $50,000 left in one, you can only use $50,000 and you have to figure out what you're going to use that $50,000. You can't lump them all together. You have to use them. You would have to make 3 requests, basically. Everyone would have to make.
What you don't want to do
It's
is
confusing.
do a change order.
Yeah.
Scope, change of
rules have
scope.
been hit and miss.
Over 3 years.
I mean, we really, Josh, we really have to have something that, I mean, you're saying basically it's the last swing at the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And so we got to make sure, again, that I mean, we can't leave this much money on the table. I mean, that's my worry that, obviously the county was do that based on FEMA's, allocations of it, not ours. But I mean, to me, we just got to, I think for myself and everybody, we got to make sure that this is over the fence.
Yeah. So that is why it's the easiest, cleanest way is just grab material versus identifying things that could change later in a scope on a road that said, now we want to move it another 30 feet, or we want to add a culvert that we missed, and all those changes change the dollar amounts. And
which brings up
The clean thing is just buy material.
Yeah.
correct. That's the cleanest, in my opinion.
So if I save line and I find out that we may need culvert, can you do, how will you segregate that if you say, okay, we don't line mix roads, but we need culverts there after the fact and not knowing that ahead of time on roads? Can you just say material and then we just absorb it?
At this point, yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah, I don't, that's
you
what
buy
I'm
it
saying.
and
Just buy material.
and you're done. Right.
That's what I
And
want.
take your savings from any material you're gonna buy.
Danielle?
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
You're telling them to go buy lime rock, go buy
No.
material without permission
No,
from FEMA to
no,
do that? Because
absolutely.
that's what they just heard.
No.
That we have to get approval?
You have to get approval for what.
Oh, yeah. That's why I asked the time frame. Yeah, sure. You're right.
So I could
Thank
buy
you.
$1.8 million worth of asphalt.
No.
Once approved versus those other projects.
They're
that
not
you have.
going to approve that.
Well, you can't buy perhaps.
You buying lime rock?
You're talking about milling?
No, he's talking about hot asphalt.
Oh,
I mean, if you can store it and you probably need a plan that say, this is when I'm going to spend it. I mean, this is when I'm going to apply it. Or we don't even have to say that. I mean, there's ways to say, if you want to buy material for roads.
Use $2.something million worth of lime rock.
409 miles of road.
I know,
He's a lot.
but road and bridge probably can't do that much.
You also need to figure out where you can store it and.
Can you pay someone to haul it?
If you get it out.
You still gotta,
You can get it.
So if you're, in my opinion, if you're going to say, we're going to haul it somewhere and put it on the road, they're gonna say, what roads? And.
Haul it
instead, we
to the
would
pit
say,
and dump it.
Right, it's going to go to this pit, we're moving it from here to this
Okay, so it
pit.
needs to be moved. That was my next question, was thought, because I mean, some of the situations we may just say to said company that wins bid A, B, and C, and we choose B, will you store us that volume at a set price on their location? Could you do that? Because that saves, and the reason I say that, because storing to me on our property is a twofold thing, especially with that large volume. You're hauling it, dumping it, to come back later and rehaul it and move it again, or reload it and move it again. So if we could get, in my case, permission to see, or at least the opinion, if I could have it on site.
I think we write everything up in that scope of work. If you're buying material, where you're gonna store it, you might have to have additional costs to store it.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I just say that because of the cost of
You
hauling.
better, when you can get it, you better get it.
Oh, I agree to somewhat, but I'm just saying if they want, get permission to purchase it, and they don't get confused about whether it's purchased and it stays there or at a location, that $2.6 million worth of lime to move it, and then to reload that and then move it again. Is,
I would say you don't want to get into a situation where you're renting that space, so you have to present costs over and over and over again. But if they can wrap that cost into a single price.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right,
They'll work on that.
so that takes care of 4177.
And we can put a scope of work and float that up as a final alternative bid for our remaining funds early next week before Thanksgiving, and start negotiating with them. Yeah, right.
Any questions on 4177? I don't have any money.
I just want to point out that we did get an extension from the June 30th, 2020 that we were worried about to September 30th, 2021. So it's expired too, but it was nice to know that they extended it.
Oh, lovely.
And there's another one in.
What good is it?
No,
Better than it was. We spent a lot of money.
well, it just covered what we had already spent.
Yeah.
All right, what about Hurricane Michael?
Okay.
What number is that?
$43.99. So those projects going forward, we're getting reimbursements continually at up to $17 million in process or received for Hurricane Michael. 1.2 million that should be on its way for reimbursement for your private property. Time extensions for the culvert. There's some issues I think we should kind of get to real quick. The debris removal, which was one of the largest projects you had, should be ready for closeout, which those are difficult to be closed out. So I'm happy to see that being closed out. The road and bridge building, we talked about all the situations there with construction, culverts, waiting on a decision whether we do the small amount of culverts that we have an obligation for with Force Account or with contractors that we're working to figure out how we get that done quickly so it doesn't need a time extension or what the time extension would need to be for to complete it. And we talked about the signs with notice to proceed and anticipated kickoff of December 1st. And then our paved roads, which is in appeal, as we know. And the appeal is due, I have that one written down, 12/14. So they came back, asked if we had any more information. That was that their delay tactic. We responded to their response, their RFI. Now they have till December 14th to come back with the determination for $43.99, which is paved roads. And
what are we asking for? What's the value on that?
20 million was the original PW that was written. Our estimates were 40, so in between 40 and 20 is what we're asking for. And there are components of that 20 million or 40 million that may be approved and may not be. So the pavement may be, the curb may not be, or vice versa. So we have broken that down in our appeal to the different components of the road that were damaged and had different arguments as to why each one of those are eligible. So we try to be as thoughtful as possible, give them opportunities to be selective and address each one of those eligibility concerns.
So we should know something on the appeal in December?
Just, yes, 12/14, yeah. So,
You said between 20 and 40, we ought to be going after 40.
yeah, so that's ours estimate. So when they say approved,
For 140.
and they say approved for this much, we say, okay, well, write it up, and here's what you write it for. Then once we get to an eligibility approval, then we can discuss the full scope.
That's if we can get some of Washington County,
Right, right,
180 million.
exactly. Which goes to,
What did you say?
the 4564, which is Sally. It's the same situation where we should be, where we thought we were going, which is where FEMA actually applied the same standards they did to Washington County and then pumped the brakes on us. So that appeal was also submitted on their determination, and it's at the state. The state has 90 days to submit it, then FEMA has 90 days. So that's a little further out until April of 2022 to get the determination.
So they're
back.
appealing us on Sally?
Yes.
When they already have a litmus of something they've done next door?
Correct, correct. So they actually gave us, they used Washington County's methodology. They said, here's what we just did in Washington County. Here's your PW. We were like, all right, fantastic. And then someone says up there saw it, said, stop, we're not doing it. We're not giving you anything. So we continued our process with identification. So we identified everything. We have our quantities. We know what we should be getting. And that is the one that we were hoping to kind of catch up with what Washington County got by using that same philosophy and how fine.
If they deny us on that, what would be your recommendation?
Well, we're already in appeal, and I
Yes,
think that was the state's recommendation, go to appeal, but I want to go to arbitration as quickly as possible.
What's the timeline on that?
April 20, April,
Okay.
correct. And then after that determination, we go to arbitration.
So-
Federal courts and federal.
And I-
Now, where will the hearing be held on December 14th?
That's just going to be a letter, a ruling.
Online,
It'll be sent to us.
A letter.
a letter?
Yeah. And then we will take action after that, or either be happy or we go into arbitration. So it's not the debt. If they say no, then we go into arbitration. That's for 4399, which is Michael.
So how long will arbitration take?
Arbitration would be probably another 3 months, but it would then be decided at the time. There's no kicking it back and forth. We go to court. But presumably in front of an unbiased panel, not FEMA.
Who would be involved in arbitration if it gets to that?
You mean on whose side, ours or theirs?
Ours.
Whoever we wanted to be. So we would present the case. We would need someone to try it. And it's fundamentally just a normal arbitration, a legal process. That's,
So you're talking about mine.
yeah, and it could potentially go to Sally as well. Yeah.
But you can't combine.
So you can't skip a arbitration, go straight to a lawsuit? Or is there a mandated process?
I would say mandated. They created the arbitration process as that legal.
To me, it's like it's drowning you a bunch of times at one time.
Correct.
You either do it or don't.
Yeah.
At some point, you just dipping us under the water.
Right.
And
But Sally is the one that is, to me, the most
Yeah, I agree with you.
upsetting, because you just did it and you gave it to us and pulled it back. But that's where we're at.
All right, any questions for Josh?
I'll put together an initial draft of what we talked about making the request for this
you'll give the
material.
superintendent to make sure all those I's and T's are crossed on the
Yes.
road.
Yes. And as soon as the agreement is signed by everybody and that the payments are made, we'll be able to submit reimbursements, and 4177 will be moving forward to close.
So when that gets done, we should get all our money from FEMA.
Well, when the payments are made, then we will submit that to the state, but not everything that was paid some of it will be reimbursement, some of it will be applied to an advance that you already received.
They shouldn't be holding no money.
They're gonna
They
have
are.
6 million, whatever dollars. They're not gonna give us this balance until you
No.
provide your alternate project and they approve them, which realistically
Oh,
could
yeah,
be
so that's,
another 9 months.
again, just to set the expectations, they can say, you've taken too long. And so we do have that. So we want to get that submitted as quickly as possible with a timeline to complete. So that is out there, and that's a potential that they can say, we're not giving you any more extensions.
Sounds
A
good.
lot of it's been on them.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So when we make our request, we'll have that factored in.
Ms. Sandy? Thank you, Josh.
Morning.
Good morning.
Did you want a quick COVID update?
I do, and I want to know what I have to do to get a booster.
Get a booster by coming to the health department Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 9 and 11. If you're looking for a Pfizer booster, that's Thursdays only. We do Moderna all 3 days, Pfizer only on Thursdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Appointment required or just?
Drop in.
Is there an appointment required or you?
There's an appointment preferred, but it's not required. When at our peak of boosters, when we first started, I think we peaked at 92 in a day, which for us is not that big a deal anymore. But we're hitting around 50 or so a day now. So certainly if you can call and make an appointment, we'll be glad to do that. But if you just find yourself in the area and wow, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 9 and 11, you swing through. They've been in the parking lot just because it's kind of easier, but that depends on weather or how many cars are there or whatever. We've also done them just inside in the multipurpose room.
If there's nobody in the parking lot, just.
There's always someone out there to direct you one way or another. And you're right, if there's no one in the parking lot, you can just walk inside and we do it right there in front. The latest numbers is statewide, we're at a 3% positivity rate for new cases. Jackson County's 5.3% positivity rate for new cases. We're currently monitoring 27. We have 1 in Jackson Hospital, nobody on event, 240 deaths.
And if y'all seen any flu, I know that Leon County's put out advisories that they are seeing a spike in the flu, which I hadn't heard that word since previous to March.
I wouldn't call what we're seeing a spike, but yes, we've seen influenza and we've seen flu throughout COVID as well, although certainly markedly less. But we do have flu shots as well. We have those available, and I think we've already been out to the county offices. Be glad to round back around for flu shots. So yes, we have seen some flu. I wouldn't call that a spike here, not what I'm seeing.
Any more questions for Ms. Sandy? I'll come see you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, real quickly, and I know this is, I think in Clinton's district, Corbin Road, isn't that your district? Just off of 231, I was traveling back from Vernon the other day, and there is a bad spot.
Yes,
It's been
there
there for
is.
a long time, and it seems like it's gotten worse. 'Cause I
Try to
travel
get
that
it.
road quite a bit. That is a county maintained road, is
Yes.
it not?
Yes,
I mean, it'll
I
actually.
tried to get
majority of-
a patch job thing go through, but it didn't go through. So, yes, we're aware of
To get that done, but
it. It's major.
It is major.
No, it's major to fix. I'm talking about dig out
It just seems like it's
10,
gotten-
15,
gotten
20
worse.
foot.
wow. I've
Then
been holding
replace
out.
Yeah, like I say, I drive that road quite a bit. The other day when I passed, it was like, wow.
We've had it
Do it on a
patched.
rainy day.
Huh?
Do it on a rainy day.
Yeah.
Anything else? Mr. Hill?
Yeah, I do. I got one thing. Was contacted by a situation on a positive side of employees being wanting to donate to people that's out on Federal Medical Leave Act. I spoke to Michelle about this, and so I like to be able to. I'll make a motion that we adopt a policy to be able to have employees donate time to employees that's out with either no time or the Federal Medical Leave Act.
Do we have anything in our personnel policy?
We have that policy.
So they can donate now?
Oh yeah, it just goes through HR. They fill out a form of what they'll do, what they'd like to
Even if
donate.
they're on Family Medical Leave Act.
Oh, yeah,
They were.
especially. if they're on
Anything
that.
else? Commissioner Fay?
When I was driving through Commissioner Donaldson.
I don't have holes like that in District 5.
I only have that one. No, I don't have any.
You don't have anything? Commissioner McKinney?
At this time, I have Ms. Rolak and Ms. Mary got an audience that want to speak on to some blessings going on in their community, Springfield community there.
One of them, they want to speak?
You don't want to come up?
Who wants to speak? Come on up and tell us who you are. Tell me what's on your mind. You should have told me that's what they were here for. We'd have let them speak earlier.
I'm Debbie Meyer. Good morning. I'm Debbie Meyer, and this is my sister-in-law. I'm married to Eddie Meyer.
Okay.
We came to, because we contacted our county commissioner, and then we also been in contact with the ladies here in this office regarding blasting that occurred Wednesday. And our concern was, we've already had issues in the past several years ago with the blasting because it affects our plumbing, our foundation of our houses, and, you know,
Wait a minute.
and pumps.
Blasting?
Yes, blasting.
Yes, mine company, Columbia, Anderson, and Flex.
Oh, up off of 231?
White Construction used to have it.
Okay.
Now they done leased it to
Anderson, Columbia?
Columbia. And now, and we already had them start, White Construction and Timmy Jones from done. Then now they, Anderson, Columbia got it, and they just blasting away houses.
That's the one on the north side of the road, 162, the north side.
About Cavern. And the blasting is not just the noise. It was like the ground was shaking. I thought we were having a earthquake.
Oh, I was standing in the kitchen and glass rolled off the counter.
Oh, no.
So they blasting just that bad now.
How far do you live from the mine? How far are you from the pit?
No, we're right over from us. We live right here and they by where you are.
Yeah, across the road. They're like across the road towards.
Safari Road, they're on the other side of Safari Road. I live on this side of Safari Road.
How often do they blast? Is this something that just started or?
Oh, no, they've been blasting for months, but now they're getting people under the ground. They're coming closer up under us because they got so much water now. Now they're digging in the water and they're going up under, like they're going up under us. Now, so close. The house, even I had a brick on it. And its foundation, you can see where they're shaking the foundation from the dirt.
My understanding that the water table has also been disturbed for its drinking water.
And the water in your, you leave your bathroom and your water is mud and coming up through your pipes.
In the winter, we don't even feel comfortable drinking our water.
We don't drink out.
Because I've got a filter in my kitchen, but still, because that water is brown, and if you like the toilets are brown, then you know it's not supposed to be like that. So
Mr. Pay?
You said that y'all stopped, White Construction and Jones.
Yeah.
How did you stop them?
Oh, we sued them.
Y'all sued them and stopped it.
And then now, White Construction done leased the land and he's still leasing Jones' land.
Have y'all talked to Anderson Columbia about it?
Talked to Anderson Columbia, I don't know who we talked to.
No, we sure don't, and that's why we're seeking assistance.
Mr. Register, can you get with these ladies, talk with them, and maybe facilitate a meeting with Anderson Columbia to try to resolve this issue?
Yeah, well, we need
Let it go, and when you come back to the board, tell us what.
Because they might not know of what y'all done before.
What was
They know what we've done before because White Construction came in after all of this happened, White Construction can't blast, or dig that. So White Construction leased it over to,
My biggest question now is who, I'm having a misunderstanding. Who's doing the blasting right now? White Construction or Anderson?
White Construction is out of it, and now it's Anderson, what is
Anderson,
Anderson, Columbia.
Right.
Mhm.
Because, and that's on the north side of 162.
Yeah,
Because
right.
they are the sole owner.
Mhm.
That's not a lease bid. That is.
Anderson?
not,
No, Jabba, that's a lease property. They
that's
lease
a
it
lease
from my,
property where they dig it now.
Yeah, my business partner owns it.
But I know where it is.
yeah, on the north side.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you
But
sue,
it's not white.
No, it's Anderson.
No, White,
Columbia.
yeah,
Anderson
no
lease.
more. White, so you.
but when you
But
sue,
why you, cause it's under the table. So y'all can go under the table and find out that he's under the table, leasing it to, he leasing the land. But he put Anderson Columbia over, I found this out.
Okay.
But that's my hearsay. But I got it from somebody that told me that what was going on. Anderson Columbia, White Construction still leasing that land from the Joneses. But now he got Anderson Columbia to come in and dig, because he can't dig no more.
so whoever made a decision, did it go in front of a judge and the judge made a decision? I mean.
We had an
but is
attorney.
it-
We had an attorney back then.
Yeah, I had an
But
attorney.
now we are not trying to sue them, we just don't want them to blast. We don't want them to call them one night and we wake up in our house falling under some stuff they dig up under there. They got so much water back there where they digging at. They done found some, just like, an ocean back there. Where they digging at, they digging in the water up under us.
And Mr. Register, just to bring you up to speed, once I got wind of this, we have, Ms. Wendy have contacted DEP,
Right.
getting them involved in this process.
Okay.
So we are definitely trying to get something resolved to this problem.
How long ago was it that y'all had an attorney involved on y'all's side?
It's been over 10 years.
Yeah, been over.
Okay.
Been over 10
Very
years,
good.
I forgot.
Okay, that's fine.
And I ain't-
Yeah. And our concern is I definitely trying to stay in my house and maintain my property. And I think all of us who live out there, that's what we want to do. And if they continue to do that, don't tell them what type of damages we'll receive. You know, in the long run,
Had to redo pumps.
Well,
and everything, wells and everything.
Get with Mr. Register. Jeffrey, y'all try to work something out and then, get with, Anderson Columbia and try to figure out a solution. Get back and let us know what you've got, okay?
I'll reach out to everybody and I'll get that.
Y'all make sure you, identify yourself to Mr. Register over there
okay.
and give him your telephone numbers and everything so y'all can work on this issue.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing it to our attention.
I
Thank you so much.
never heard of it. Anything else, Mr. McKinney? Clay? Danielle? I got a couple of things. He's busy, right? What's the status of our map? Map, where are we on our new map?
District map.
Yeah,
Y'all,
district map.
The surveyor's got.
yeah, you approved for the surveyors to start
Okay.
drawing that up.
Where are we on our, relief from the, consent decree?
So the ACLU attorney emailed me yesterday, I think it was, that he has been able to schedule an appointment to physically go to the National Archives office in Atlanta to physically copy the original file. And he's going to send me that as soon as he gets it. But I can't do anything until
Did he give you any suggestions or opinions about his thoughts on that ruling?
Not really.
Okay,
No,
yeah, okay.
his concern really was limited to the maps being in compliance with the consent order.
According to the map, he was satisfied with that.
Yeah.
What is the status of the grant on the,
I'll reach out.
for the, convention center?
Haven't received an official, notification one way or another on that. but we have heard that some communities are getting, they call it a site visit. And we have not received a notification that we're getting one, but we have not received notification that we're not getting one. But those are going out.
So it's really not a convention center, it's a conference center. I mean, two different
Conference center,
things.
convention
What
center.
is the difference?
Well,
Place to
for the
meet,
grant
whatever it is.
purposes, it's a
Convention
shelter.
center is really geared towards getting big organizations like the Republican Committee that come in and have conventions, where a conference center is more local.
Okay.
Besides the venue, pretty much.
We just need to stay on top of that because I think the board wants to get that project moving.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have a definitive answer. Again, we haven't received a notification that they're coming for a site visit, so that's not very promising. But we do have some calls in. We got Alan working on it to just see what's really going on, and I'll keep y'all updated.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
if we don't get the shelter grant, we can proceed with going on with.
Right, to remodel it,
conference center.
we'll have the center
Right.
while they're thinking about it. I'd just like to bring up to the board that I got a call the other day from a gentleman out in the Indian Springs. Jabo had sent the mowers through there and the guy said that the best mowing job that's ever been done in Indian Springs. So make sure Dale and those guys running those mowers know that people are looking and they appreciate all the good work. One other thing, the stop sign at Flat and Blue Springs. Do I need to pay for that or are you paying for it? I prefer you.
It was supposed to come out of your discretionary fund.
How much was it?
Yeah.
I think
Probably more, buy one, get one
for
free.
shipping, we got to pay $90 extra for the shipping or whatever. But it was 1,400 and something. I was just below
Give me-
1,500.
Give me approval to spend $1,500 up to $1,600 out of my discretionary. I got a problem with Flat Road in Blue Springs. Lady that lives there, two vehicles ran through her yard the first night. Got a motion by Commissioner Page, second by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And I'll pay for it down there.
Is it, Java, is it gonna be the one that's got like the 8 or 10 lights around the perimeter of the sign?
This is.
No, it'd be like
I think the one he got
162.
gonna have a red light above and below it,
Okay.
and then the stop sign and so
I
on.
got you, good. I think they might, they usually have about 6.
Anyone else have anything?
There was
Yes.
someone with a raised hand, Fred said.
Fred, go ahead.
They have since lowered their hand.
See if they wanna re-raise.
It's back up.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, fellas, this is Deborah again at Florida, and I'm sorry, I forgot. I was trying to ask you something about when you all were talking about the FEMA projects, you know, the 4177 and all that. You all had mentioned a lawsuit in the talks. Can you all tell me more about the lawsuit to which you had reference? I think you were talking about 4177 at that time.
I think Commissioner Hill alluded to a lawsuit, but Deborah, what's going on now is we're going through the process of arbitration, and we will, once we go through that, we'll have to make a decision if we want to proceed with filing a lawsuit against FEMA.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Anything else?
They'll do it. Thank you.